but you're gonna put a hurdle that only so many people can jump, and that's money. But guess who's that's going to disproportionately affect? Poor people. So guess what? Even if they're innocent, they still have to sit in jail because they don't have no money. Let's go ahead and close that. So, like I said, we're gonna talk about media, and we all know how media likes to play to the side that they are on. You know, so if you're a Democrat, of course you're gonna have CNN and news media of that nature only pushing one side of a story to kind of amplify their agenda, their viewpoint, their perspective on something, or whatever they purposely want to feed out there. And then of course we have Fox News, which is one of the biggest news media outlets out there. They're pushing their own agenda, what they want people to believe, their viewpoints or perspective, and they do it in a way to where it's really unproductive, and it really gets nothing productive done, especially when it's about something important. So here is Fox News talking about America's reacting to the new law handcuffing police. Now that just sounds so horrible, but once you hear what it's really about and the facts behind why this state is doing this, it makes sense. But if you just hear how they portray it, Fox News portrays it, it sounds like it's the worst thing ever. So let's go ahead and get into
criminals
it.
Running around. On cash bond. I just don't like, they don't have anything to lose. Nothing to lose.
Well, I think sometimes they keep the wrong ones, you know, in jail and the right ones out of jail.
I think it's stupid. I think I've worked for the system for 28 years, and I think it's about the dumbest thing Illinois has come up with so far.
Okay.
SAFETY Act. This is the controversial measure which eliminates cash bail.
Illinois will be the first state in the nation to end cash bail starting next year.
Cash
and
bail.
That is sparking a concern that more criminals could be out on the street.
The controversy still raging over Illinois' new SAFETY Act.
The SAFETY Act was voted on in the middle of the night. It was passed through in the middle of the night last year, then signed by Governor Pritzker.
Okay. Now let's see how they get the locals' opinion about this. To ask residents about the SAFETY Act.
I have heard of that bill, and I think it's pretty scary, actually.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? No.
I don't like it.
Why not?
They ought to have to do something. If you're just going to take them in and turn them back loose, they no doubt can do the same thing all over again. No repercussions.
Worked at the sheriff's office for over 20 years. I don't like it either.
Yeah.
I think that...
So boom, right there. I'm glad that she was being completely honest. She said, I used to work at a sheriff's office. Well, obviously, if you're asking someone who worked in law enforcement their opinion on something that has to do with law enforcement, of course, they're going to be a little bit biased. They're going to be a little bit one-sided. You might have the one or two people who might have a different opinion about it. But for the most part, you're going to have a little bias. It's like asking, Coloradans, who's the best football team? 9 times out of 10, you're going to find a lot of Bronco fans. Obviously, you're asking people in Colorado, specifically Denver. So yeah, if you're asking a law enforcement question or an opinion, and you're asking somebody who used to work or currently still do work for law enforcement, obviously they're not gonna hate on their own organization or their own company. Of course not. So to me, they should have did a little bit more vetting before they ask just random people. But you're gonna see that it's a consistent theme on the people they're asking. But we're gonna get into some more statistics and analytics a little bit later.
You have to be responsible for your actions.
Oh, really?
And there's only one way to teach someone responsibility, for their actions, and that's to make them pay for what they do.
I think it's a bad move. I think people ought to be held until their trial unless they have cash to bail out, because that makes them more responsible. And
okay, that makes them more responsible. Here's where I'm going to throw some facts in. Hopefully while I'm editing this, I'm going to throw some facts. Bam, bam, right over there. Most of people who do get pulled over, arrested, put in jail, and have a court hearing are usually middle-class to poor folks. 9 times out of 10 poor folks, and I'm going to have statistics to back this up. 9 times out of 10, they don't have money for bailout. So why have something, and 9 times out of 10, they're innocent, or it's going to be thrown out by the judge. It's going to be something petty, but they don't have money to even have an opportunity to pay to get out until their court date. So we have, and it's not just like a day or two. This could be for a long time. And the only reason why they can't be out compared to somebody else is because how much money they have. If we're really basing this on you broke the rules, now you have to sit in jail or prison or whatever the case is until you see your court date, then take out the whole bond mechanic out completely and be like, hey, you ran a red light, you domestic violence, robbery, murder, anything. You stay in jail. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But you're going to put a hurdle that only so many people can jump, and that's money. But guess who's that's going to disproportionately affect? Poor people. So guess what? Even if they're innocent, they still have to sit in jail because they don't have no money. To me, that's pretty daggone stupid. If you want people to pay for their crimes, one, you got to make sure they're guilty of it. And right now, we're talking about being bonded out. So this is the time period before you see your judge, before any rulings or anything is really finalized. So one, we got to make sure these people are actually guilty. But even before then, like I said, to set the bar on how much money you have, really, and come on now. Come on.
And more likely to come back for the trial.
No, I do not think it will make the state safer at all.
If they're not going to arrest them, they're just going to keep redoing crimes. I mean, that's nature of the beast.
Yeah, and just because they have to pay to get out on bond doesn't mean that they're not going to commit the crime again. If somebody really wants to commit a crime, if they pay the bail or not, they're still going to commit that crime. If they're focused, laser focused in committing that crime, they're going to commit it. But I think that speaks to a bigger issue of our prison system, that there's no really actual true reform for people who actually go to jail and or prison. There's really nothing. It's just a daycare for people, for adults, essentially. But I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. But we're talking about paying bond, and just because somebody had to pay $300, $500, $1,000, $2,000 doesn't mean that they're not going to want to commit a crime if they really want to. To me, that's pretty daggone intellectually lazy on their behalf.
Well, you're turning them right back loose for whatever they did. There's no repercussions. They'd go do it again. Why not?
Yeah, that's
if
our
they know they're
entire.
gonna get out, take me down, slap my hands, send me home.
That's exactly how our prison system is set up. Unfortunately, not paying bail. Hold on, let's rewind that. The Safety Act will prevent law enforcement officers from removing trespassers from private property. Okay, I think that's a little loosely worded, but okay. Instead, law enforcement will only be allowed to issue citations. I guess. They probably could have.
If they're on my property, they're getting off. I don't care if I have to call the police or not. They're going to be exiting my property.
You got a right to have your own private property, and if you don't want people on it, they shouldn't be able to come.
Of
there
course.
There ought to be repercussions.
I mean, if somebody's robbing my house and the cops ain't going to arrest them, the police ain't going to arrest them, I'm going to.
Who said that the police are not going to arrest them if they're robbing your place? Just a few seconds ago, it said for trespassing. So this is probably for, private business properties. If, there's a whole bunch of teens or whatever kicking at, a place that they're not supposed to be. We're not talking about robbing a house. You see how they're inflating two different situations? Oh, so now, of course, people who are not educated or who don't want to use the brain in their head, they're going to be like, oh, these Democrats are allowing people to rob people and the police can't do nothing. Bro, you're a whole entire idiot. Because I know there's people who's going to believe that. I know it's people who's going to believe that. But that's not what that just said. Even if Fox News poorly typed that out. That's not what that means. That people can just rob your home and the police is not going to arrest them. Bro, you're a whole ass idiot if you believe that.
I'm going to take matters in my own hands. I mean, anybody would.
Oh, I
think it's kind of a sad thing.
To.
The police can't remove them because if it's left up to the property owner and they try to do it, then more than likely they'll be the people that get in trouble instead of the trespasser. So,
Okay, so you honestly think that if somebody's robbing your house and you defend yourself, self-defense, we all know how some of these people love self-defense, you use self-defense, you're going to get in more trouble than a person robbing your place? Do you honestly believe that? Say it with me. You're an whole idiot if you believe that. Come on now. Just use a couple of seconds to kind of think about some things before you just say words. Just because you're saying a whole bunch of words doesn't mean that you're saying anything important with substance. Think about this stuff. I've seen this video about 2-3 times and I've spent hours upon hours thinking about this. I'm not just literally reacting to, oh, let me just watch this. No, I like to actually put some thought and effort into what I'm going to create. So, I mean, it's still a reaction video, but I'm actually putting some thought and a little common sense if I can, But when Fox News throws a microphone in people's faces and asks questions, they're getting people who haven't spent more than 2 minutes thinking about this. And you get idiots like this, like, well, the homeowner is going to get in more trouble than the actual robber. And I think that's a problem in society. That's going to cause some issues. Bro, you really think that's going to happen? If so, I'm going to rob your place as soon as possible. If I can rob you and you get in trouble, why not? Why not? Idiots.
It's supposed to be left into the hands of the people with the authority. And now it looks like it's trying to divert it back into the hands of just the general public.
They're the ones who's going to get punished for trying to protect their own property.
I come from a family of law enforcement, and I don't think they're really excited about it.
Oh, wow. They're asking somebody whose whole entire family lineage is supporting cops and being part of law enforcement. What do you think she's gonna say? 9 times out of 10, I could have bet my last paycheck that she was gonna be like, yeah, I come from a family of law enforcement, and we all know who she was gonna say. As soon as she said that, we know she looks like she's about to go to a police place and sit at a computer and do some work. She looks like that kind of person. So it's like, do you really think, why don't you find somebody who thinks it's a good idea? I mean, not robbing people and not getting in trouble, but for whatever, safety act that they're trying to run. I'm pretty sure there's somebody who agrees with it. But of course, this is how media kind of shapes reality and then puts this kind of information out there. And this video has how many views? Let's take a look here. It's not really telling me. That's kind of weird. Well, they got 10 million subscribers. And I'm not sure how many views this got, but I'm just assuming this is Fox News with 10 million subscribers. Somebody's watching this. And somebody is going to take this serious.
From what the conversations I've had with them, so that makes me not really excited about it.
Oh,
Police's
really?
hands are being tied on a lot of issues. And a lot of policemen are quitting or retiring early, and a lot of police departments cannot even fill the need that they have with vacancies. So where are we at with that?
Oof. It sounds like a personal problem. If you honestly believe that, it's a personal problem. So let's go ahead.